Hey everybody, Joshua Campbell again from Nelson, BC. I'm going to be putting out some songs in the next while, some of which I'm sure you've heard, some you may not have. But it gives you an idea of my voice, singing along to some songs that may be familiar to you. I hesitate to put on original stuff on here simply because I want to be careful who I deal with in terms of presenting original stuff, so somebody else doesn't end up claiming it's theirs later, you know. But I would like to introduce some original stuff to people who might be able to help me pursue my dream and get it off the ground. That said, this exercise is to mainly give you an idea of my voice and my influences that have helped me to become who I am and inspired me. One of those people is Harry Chapin. I grew up in the era of music with Harry Chapin, Cat Stevens, Supertramp. These people have been influences in my upbringing, and I hope to be an influence in this generation and the next in turn. Mr. Tanner was my favorite Harry Chapin song, still is, because I identified so much with it as kind of my life's theme song in a way. I'm not an old guy working in Dayton, Ohio in a cleaning shop, but the general gist of the song still applies. And if you know me at all, you'd understand what I mean by that. And if you don't know Harry, this is a great introduction to Harry Chapin, and if you do know Harry, you probably know this song. Either way, I hope it encourages you and you like what you hear. Here's Harry and I singing Mr. Tanner. Mr. Tanner was a cleaner from a town in the Midwest, and of all the cleaning shops around, he'd made his the best. But he also was a baritone who sang while hanging clothes. He cracked the scales while pressing tails and sang at local shows. His friends and neighbors praised the voice that poured out from his throat. They said that he should use his gift instead of cleaning coats. But music was his life, it was not his livelihood, and it made him feel so happy, and it made him feel so good, and he sang from his heart, and he sang from his soul. He did not know how well he sang, it just made him whole. His friends kept working on him to try music out full time. A big debut at rave review is a great career to climb. Finally they got to him, he would take the fling. A concert agent in New York agreed to have him sing. And there were plane tickets, phone calls, money spent to rent the halls. It took most of his savings, but he gladly used them all. But music was his life, it was not his livelihood, and it made him feel so happy, and it made him feel so good, and he sang from his heart, and he sang from his soul. He did not know how well he sang, it just made him whole. Evening came, he took the stage, his face set in a smile, and in the half-filled hall the critics sat, watching on the aisle. But the concert was a blur to him, scatters of applause. He did not know how well he sang, he only heard the flaws. But the critics were concise, it only took 4 lines, but no one could accuse them of being overkind. Mr. Montana, a baritone of Dayton, Ohio, made his town hall debut last night. He came well prepared, but unfortunately his presentation was not up to contemporary professional standards. His voice lacks the range of tonal color necessary to make it consistently interesting. Full-time consideration of another endeavor might be in order. He went home to Dayton and was questioned by his friends, and he smiled and just said nothing, and he never sang again. Except for very late at night, when the shop was dark and closed. He sang softly to himself as he sorted through the clothes. Music was his life, it was not his livelihood, and it made him feel so happy, and it made him feel so good, and he sang from his heart, and he sang from his soul, and he did not know how well he sang. It just made him whole.